Welcome, friends, to the Buck Sexton Show. We have good news today. I know it's tough to allow yourself even to believe it at this point. We've been through so much bad news recently. The country's in the grip of this pandemic. We have more cases, more deaths in a day, in a month than we've ever had before. And we also have an election result that continues to be outrageous and frustrating and rage-inducing. And a result so far, at least. And I know the Electoral College is meeting today. So there's a lot that we have to just grit our teeth for. But there is this vaccine that is out there and it is on the move. And we should all be very, very pleased about this, excited about this. It will be the beginning of the end of at least this wave of tyranny. I don't want to overstate this. There are a lot of people who see what has happened to this country, who see how easily cowed the U.S. population is, and they think that this can be replicated, that this can be copied for other issues, other policy areas and concerns. They're not going to give up. In fact, they view this as the playbook going forward on a whole host of issues. But let's just at least look at the vaccine right now. I still remember in February being on the Bill Maher show on HBO and being sneered at, hissed at, laughed at, because they said Trump is saying that the vaccine is going to be delivered in record speed. And I said, well, they are planning to deliver it in record speed. That is the plan. Oh, you're so ridiculous. Trump will never do it. Well, it wasn't just then and there. We've seen countless other examples of people, especially when you get back into the April, May, and June time period, where they were laughing at Trump for suggesting that Operation Warpspeed, they thought the name was ridiculous. He'd never be able to pull this off. He's not good enough. He's not smart enough. And gosh darn it, people don't like him. That's what they were saying. I mean, that was the whole laugh line. They had fact checkers even. They had fact checkers who jumped in on this one too. NBC News fact check from May 15th. Coronavirus vaccine could come this year, Trump says. Experts say he needs a, quote, miracle to be right. Well, it looks like Trump delivered a miracle because vaccines are going into people's arms in this country today. Less than 1 year. Research to vial, research to vaccination. They're actually doing it. They're getting it done. And there's a lot of credit the administration should get for this, but there's not really a focus on it, of course. They don't really care to have anybody really come forward from the administration and say, hey, all of our critics were wrong. That's not going to, the media is not going to spend any time on that. By their own admission, this is a miracle. That's what they've told us. By their own admission, this is a miracle. And so then we have to ask, what does it mean going forward? What is the reality of this? Now, there's a tremendously complicated system here to get this vaccine out. I read about it over the weekend, and it's pretty incredible. I mean, this was written in the Wall Street Journal. The journey starts in a factory just outside St. Louis, where Pfizer scientists make the raw materials that are the backbone of the vaccine. Those materials move on to Andover, Massachusetts, where researchers turn them into mRNA, molecular couriers that deliver genetic instructions to the body. The mRNA is dispatched to Michigan, where machines the size of single-car garages envelop them with lipid nanoparticles, microscopic vessels used to deliver genetic material into the body. Making doses takes about a week, and batches sit for about 2 weeks before being shipped. The vaccine is transported in glass vials strong enough to withstand transit and the subarctic temperatures in which the liquid must be stored. Trays carrying 195 vials are packed with dry ice in suitcases, or suitcase-like boxes weighing 80 pounds. Those vaccines eventually are diluted with enough saline solution to make 975 doses. So this is a complicated process, and this is the most ambitious vaccination effort the world has ever seen. This is remarkable. It is a tremendous scientific achievement. And I think that it's a shame that we have such a focus on other things right now, and there's so much partisanship that there isn't any willingness in the media to credit an administration, even if they believe it is now the outgoing administration, even though the Electoral College is meeting today and will certify Joe Biden in these states as the winner. The fact is that the Trump team did pull off something of a miracle, and it had nothing but doubters and challengers and haters all along the way. That's what was really going on here. In the media I'm talking about now. I mean, all the fact checks, they'll never get this done. They're lying about this. So this is a victory that we should all celebrate. But I know it's hard to be in any kind of a celebratory mood because of what's going on in the country, and this is going to take time. In a sense, this is like the invasion at Normandy. This is the D-Day landing of our fight against this vaccine. Remember, after D-Day, there was still a lot of fighting left to do, and there's still a lot of people that lost their lives. That's where we are right now. We've got our feet on the shore at Omaha Beach. We got our feet ready to go here. But this is going to take 90 days before we really feel a massive effect from this. Maybe 60 days, but something along those lines. And I think everybody should be prepared for a very challenging December and January. We all know that. But along with this vaccination process, which I know it's about so much here, and it's not really, it shouldn't be a political issue, but the Trump team deserves an enormous wave of thanks. You know, the people that hate science so much, right? That's what they always say. Trump and his advisors, they don't believe the science. Well, somehow they have helped bring into being the scientific miracle through Operation Warpspeed of getting this vaccine out to people. But while we're distributing this and trying to get our lives back, trying to get our society back, we should understand that there are those who believe that these lockdowns and these restrictions on us should continue long after the vaccine reaches a critical mass of distribution. That this is our new normal going forward, that it's completely necessary, not even acceptable. It is necessary to have all of these lockdowns, despite all the data you could point to show that lockdowns are certainly insufficient on their own, and many would even challenge whether they are beneficial when you look at the costs versus the actual benefits of it. Bill Gates, who I don't know why we have to listen to this guy outside of how to build a microprocessor. I really don't, but we do because he's really rich people and really famous people are treated like they know things in this country. They're treated like they're experts in whatever they feel like talking about, which is a shame because they're not. But Bill Gates, who is worth, I don't know, over $100 billion, some absolutely astronomical and crazy number, he wants everyone to know that their bars, their restaurants should be closed down. Play two.
Well, certainly mask wearing has essentially no downside. They're not expensive. Bars and restaurants in most of the country will be closed as we go into this wave. And I think, sadly, that's appropriate. Depending on how severe it is, the decision about schools is much more complicated because the benefits are pretty high. The amount of transmission is not the same as in restaurants and bars. So, trade-offs will have to be made. But the next 4 to 6 months really call on us to do our best because we can see that this will end, and you don't want somebody you love to be the last to die of coronavirus.
Notice that he won't tell you what the data really says about schools. Schools are complicated. That's the only concession that Bill Gates will make. Your school closures they're not complicated. School closures are dumb. They're not supported by the science. It's absolutely not worth it to close down schools. And everybody who was advocating for that at any point during this pandemic was wrong. They were wrong. There's not a debate on this. They were wrong. We have the data. We've run the experiment. We have the numbers. Why won't he say that? Why is this guy so obsessed with controlling so many people? And also his comment about masks, I completely reject. Masks are limiting your ability to breathe freely. Whether you want them or not, I'll put that aside for a second. Let's not pretend that it's no big deal. It's very annoying. It's a restriction of your most basic freedom, the right to breathe free, fresh air. More basic than anything even written in the Constitution. Are you allowed to breathe? Kind of. You breathe the way we say. You breathe uncomfortably through what we tell you you have to breathe through. This is moronic. Oh, there's no cost associated with this whatsoever. I mean, this is a totalitarianism that goes beyond even the kind of stuff you see in North Korea. You're not allowed to breathe the way you want to breathe. Why is that? Oh, because it's so effective at preventing. That's why we have all these mask mandates all across the country and cities and states. And what exactly has it done to flatten the curve? I ask you that. What has it done to flatten the curve? Nothing. They won't admit that. They won't say that. They just pretend that we can't. This is all the emperor's new clothes, friends, except it's the emperor's new mask. You're not allowed to look at what's going on and say, well, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You know, how well it works, whatever. We can get into all that. Does a government mandate mean anything? No, it does not. It does not help. Look at all the charts. Look at all the graphs. I know I'm like treated like a lunatic on this by the mainstream, but they're wrong. I was right about schools. They were wrong about schools. Do you think they admit that? Do you think it makes any of them think, well, maybe we've exaggerated the intelligence of St. Fauci here, and maybe we should rethink some of these policies? They will not do that. And I'm here to tell you that while the vaccine is good news and it is getting distributed, and that certainly is cause for celebration, or at least it's encouraging, right? I mean, maybe we're not in a celebratory mood, but it is encouraging. The Bill Gateses, the globalists, the lockdowners, the authoritarians, the left, they want this to continue for, I've been saying until next fall, but pretty much for another year. They want another year of you complying, doing whatever they say. They want another year of this. Play one.
When do you think life will fully return to what we thought of as normal back in January? No masks, no social distancing, no other protective measures necessary.
Certainly by the summer, we'll be way closer to normal than we are now. But even through early 2022, unless we help other countries get rid of this disease and we get high vaccination rates in our country, the risk of reintroduction will be there. And of course, the global economy will be slowed down, which hurts America economically in a pretty dramatic way. So we'll have, starting in the summer, about 9 months where a few things like big public gatherings will still be restricted. But we can see now that somewhere between 12 to 18 months, and we have a chance, if we manage it well, to get back to normal.
Why do we have to manage it well to get back to normal? I just want to know what he thinks, what the logic is there. We're going to get everyone vaccinated, and then they're going to be at herd immunity. That's what's going to happen. Or manage it. So if we don't manage it well, we never get back to normal. You'll notice they hold this out there. There is this thought they have. Maybe we keep this in the back pocket. Maybe we use this whenever we want to get people to bend the knee. Oh, COVID could come back. Oh, it's in foreign countries. Sorry, lockdowns here. Your business shut down here. Do what we say. There is a mass psychological conditioning here that you are a serf, that you do what the state tells you to do. And it will continue until you tell them, no, I will not comply. And we have not reached enough of that mentality in this country yet. And it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing. I used to think we were a free people that valued our liberty. Only some of us are. A lot of us just want to be safe and warm and fed, and nothing else matters to them. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.